Always great chatting with my next guest, Julian Erosa, who does not have a fight book, but we're happy to see him here. Of course, he lives in Las Vegas, but originally from the Pacific Northwest. Always good to see you, man. How's everything?
Oh, everything's fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Of course. No, glad to see you here, a familiar face. How's it, kind of doing this type of stuff, as opposed to, being here for Fight Week? I know you live here, but to, see the fans and stuff, how cool is this whole thing for you?
Oh, this is it's surreal, and it's fun to do this kind of stuff because it kind of opens it up to seeing the fans and seeing the people that are kind of building support behind you. I still feel as if I'm kind of like a middle of the road UFC guy, but yesterday we were doing this kind of fan experience, and there's a lot of people who knew who I am, and you forget about that, especially living in Las Vegas where there's all these UFC guys here that you forget that you're kind of a star in your own sense, and for me it's just cool to see that kind of side of it.
Last fight, I know it's never fun to talk about a loss. What did you kind of take away the most from that fight against Fernando Padilla?
Yeah, these things happen, but it's all part of the, there's two guys that go in there and one's going to win and one's going to lose. I felt like the fight was stopped a little quick, but I can't blame Chris Ione for that. It's just part of his job to make sure that the fighters are safe. But I wish I've had other fights that I thought ended a little quick, and then rewatched it and was like, you know what, maybe it didn't. But this one for sure, I felt like it was a bit quick. I was on my feet. I was pretty aware of what was going on. And, it's frustrating, but it's those kind of moments that help you get the hunger back and make me want to, train harder and get ready for my next fight even that much more.
When do you want to have that next fight? I know it was a couple months ago was that fight. I imagine you want to get in there pretty soon?
Yeah, for sure. There was an opportunity possibly to fight TJ Brown in August, but talking to my manager, having coming off a couple of losses, and then I kind of have transitioned over from 10th Planet to fully at Extreme Couture under Eric, and so after my last fight, so my management wanted me to get more comfortable with under Eric before we took any fights. So we were thinking more of around the fall, but honestly, I've been comfortable with Eric. I've been in Vegas for the last 6 years, and even though he's never been my head coach, I've seen him. I've sparred against his guys, and he's basically cornered me a bunch beforehand. So it only took me a few days to really get comfortable in that scene. And then I messaged my manager and asked him if we could get that TJ Brown fight, and I still hadn't gotten an answer back. So I'm just kind of going to wait and just stay ready, and hopefully something in the fall.
Yeah, it looks like he might be fighting Kyle Nelson. I saw them kind of going back and forth on social media.
Yeah, I think that was. I think that's what's going to go on with that, and so and you never know with these guys. Fights fall out. So you just stay ready, and something will pop up.
There you go. So what is now? I know just kind of getting used to kind of the newer team, so to speak. Who do you get to train with over there as far as bodies in the gym? I know it's a big gym, but anyone you train with a little bit more?
Yeah, I was helping Dan Ige with his Nate Landwehr fight, which a
lot of insight there, right?
Yeah, for sure. And also I had fought Nate Landwehr, and so. Yeah, he was kind of picking my brain about it, and I was helping him out for that fight. And Kai Kamaka fights for Bellator, and Jeremy Kennedy fights for Bellator, and they're both savages over there. So, they got a huge room of featherweights and the top featherweights in their own right. So it's just nice to get more work with those guys. I was working with those guys, on and off for a long time, but to be 100% over there and get work with those guys every day has been amazing.
That's great. Miesha Tate was on the red carpet. I asked her, when's the UFC coming back to Seattle? Because we talked about this too, where they have the new arena with the Kraken. It would be cool to see them go back. I'm sure you'd hope for that as well, to have friends and family be able to come out and watch a fight.
Oh, for sure. It's difficult when you have fights out in Vegas or when you travel places that isn't your hometown, because you only have a handful of people that will end up coming to watch you fight. My mom comes to watch me fight anywhere I'm at, but all my other friends and family, I got hundreds of people that used to go watch me fight at K-Sport in Tacoma, and so if there was a UFC in Seattle, Tacoma area, I would sell probably over 200 tickets, so it would be.
Bellator had that card in Tacoma last year. I don't know if you saw that at the Emerald Queen. It was a nice venue.
Yeah, because the Emerald Queen made a new venue a few years back, and so something like that. Bellator went over there, and if I was fighting for that, I would have probably sold a couple hundred tickets, and that's really kind of what draws people over there is having hometown kids fight on those shows.
And any plans to go back to Washington for the summer? Because it is a nice time of year out there.
Yeah, we usually go back for the summer. This summer's been a bit complicated with certain things going on, but I think we're gonna wait till after my next fight to go back over there. So probably more of the fall or the winter.
Good seeing you, man. Always a pleasure. Just anything you want to mention before we get out of here? Sponsor, social media, anything like that?
Yeah, obviously, just always shout out to my management, Ridium Sports Agency, Jason House, and all those guys over there. They do everything for me, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be in the UFC. So shout out to them, and shout out to everybody that's watching.